From Washington, this is VOA News. A Sunday referendum in Crimea appears real. Malaysian officials say the disappearance of that Malaysian airliner is likely deliberate. I'm Vincent Bruce, reporting from Washington. Russia deployed its veto at the UN Security Council Saturday and blocked a move to condemn a controversial referendum Sunday in Crimea. Now, that referendum vote could lead to the Ukrainian territory secession and move to unite with Russia. VOA's UN correspondent Margaret Besheer reports.
The United States put forward the Crimea resolution at the UN in a strategic effort to demonstrate the extent of Russia's political isolation. Although it was not adopted, the effort succeeded to the extent that China, Moscow's close ally and another veto-wielding council member, abstained instead of siding with Russia. Russian Ambassador Vitaly Churkin, speaking ahead of the vote, defended the right of self-determination of the Crimean people. He is heard here through an interpreter.
That up until 1954, Crimea was a part of the Russian Federation. It was given to Ukraine in violation of the norms of that time under Soviet law.
If the referendum goes ahead Sunday as expected, Russia is likely to face a barrage of economic sanctions from the United States and European Union. Margaret Besheer, VOA News, New York.
As UN Security Council members reacted to the veto of the resolution, Ukrainian envoy Yuri Sergeyev told them Russian forces had moved into a Ukrainian region near Crimea.
Russian troops entered the mainland on the south from Crimea. Now we are facing a new developments, and we are to face further dangerous stance of Russia Federation, and I appeal to all of you to find means and measures in the Security Council and United Nations, as well on your bilateral level, to do utmost possible to stop the aggressor.
U.S. Republican Senator John McCain says a Russian invasion of eastern Ukraine would be a breach of enormous consequences and could bring a very sharp response by the United States and Europe. McCain spoke from Kiev Saturday as part of a U.S. Senate delegation meeting with Ukraine's interim leaders and the opposition. More on this story at voanews.com. Malaysia's Prime Minister Najib Razak says there is a high degree of certainty that someone deliberately shut off the communications and transponder in that missing Malaysia Airlines jet with 239 people aboard. He told reporters at a news conference Saturday the disappearance of the aircraft was consistent with a deliberate action and that authorities are refocusing their investigation on the crew and passengers. However, he said all possibilities remain under investigation. Officials in Egypt say unidentified gunmen shot and killed 6 soldiers at an army checkpoint outside of Cairo. Authorities say gunmen opened fire on the soldiers early Saturday in the northern neighborhood of Shubra al-Khaima following morning prayers. Police say the attackers also planted bombs at the scene to target first responders, but that experts were able to safely defuse them. No one has claimed responsibility. The Central African Republic's government is considering a plan to persuade anti-Balaka militia fighters to leave the capital and return to their villages. Both the Seleka rebels, who overthrew the president last year, and the anti-Balaka militias that drove back the Seleka are accused of massacring thousands of people and of widespread looting and destruction. At least 100,000 Muslims have fled the western CAR in recent months as a result of the sectarian violence led by the anti-Balaka. The plan to persuade the anti-Balaka militia to leave the capital will probably involve international donors. It also will likely involve the French and African Union peacekeeping missions to protect the demobilized militia. As Syria marks the third anniversary of the country's civil war, on Saturday, Syrian troops advanced on a major rebel town near the Lebanese border. State media and activists said soldiers supported by warplanes, artillery, and tanks entered the town of Yabrud. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon Friday called for all parties to end the violence. A Pakistani tribunal has taken 10 years off the 33-year sentence of a doctor who helped the U.S. spy agency find Osama bin Laden. Shakil Afridi was convicted in May 2012, not of working for the CIA, but on charges of giving money and providing medical treatment to Islamic militants. Afridi is believed to have been targeted by Pakistani authorities because of allegations that he ran a vaccination program to collect DNA and verify bin Laden's presence in the town of Abbottabad. More at voanews.com. I'm Vincent Bruce, VOA News in Washington.